right, well, good morning, everybody, and thank you all for being here to discuss this really, really important topic. First of all, I want to thank our partners who are here today from Milwaukee downtown, Bid 21, Visit Milwaukee, Office of Community Wellness and Safety, the police department, and others. I really thank them for their presence here today. Public safety requires more than a one-size-fits-all approach. All of us know that. As situations evolve, city departments, including police, including public works, the Office of Community Wellness and Safety, and other city departments, all of us have to adapt in response to that. Now, what we've seen is that with problems on Hampton Avenue in recent months, the city has responded, and the city will respond whenever these types of problems take place. Now, there are a lot of fun-loving people from the city of Milwaukee and all over the region that enjoy coming downtown in order to have fun, simply to enjoy themselves, and they make the choice. They choose to come downtown. The problems that have occurred stem from a minority of people, just a few people who are looking for trouble, and that tends to be very late at night. Just to put a finer point on that, a lot of folks come downtown to have a good time, and it's only a small amount of folks that decide to cause havoc, that decide to cause destruction and disrupt the party, disrupt the fun for everybody else. The Milwaukee Police Department and others in city government have met with local businesses, and I want to share with everybody here some of the steps that are being taken to address situations that we've been seeing happen downtown. So those are these. Our police are mobilizing so that there are sufficient numbers of officers to manage the crowds that gather on some of the nights here downtown. Led by Danita Ball, the Milwaukee County Sheriff, the Sheriff's Office is helping with a mobile booking facility that'll help speed up the processing for folks who receive tickets or are arrested when they break the law downtown. And what that'll do is that'll help us to keep our law enforcement officers in the Milwaukee Police Department on the beat, on patrol here downtown, instead of transporting those after they get arrested. We're adjusting hours of food trucks so they don't become gathering points on the nights and in the early morning hours. I want to credit the Milwaukee County Council for taking some action here in order to make sure that that is addressed. Police are increasing enforcement of juvenile curfew and prohibitions of guns being carried within 1,000 feet of schools. There are going to be some traffic changes as well, including flashing red traffic signals and restrictions on scooters in the downtown area. Those things are going to be implemented as we seek to address the issues here. Local businesses, they have been cooperating, and you're likely to see officers inside of some of those businesses helping to keep order and providing a presence downtown. Police are also using technology, something I'm a big fan of, including drone deployment in order to see what's happening and to speed up the response as well. I've had a number of conversations about this. I think it's really important that we are adaptive, that we are innovative, and using drone technology in order to keep an eye on what's going on is going to be a really, really important piece of this. And we continue with our prevention activity through a variety of programs and through our Office of Community Wellness and Safety, as I've mentioned, and as you see, are joining me here this morning. There's more going on, and I'm joined by several people who have stepped up as well. So finally, let me just highlight our common objective in all of this. I'm championing solutions. Downtown will be safer. Downtown is and it will continue to be the center of our entertainment economy, and downtown is and will continue to be a welcoming place for everybody who wants to come and to have fun. And we're going to work to address these issues that really, again, a few rabble-rousers decide to make decisions and choices and come down here and ruin it for everybody else. And with that, we'll take a couple questions. Yeah, I will defer to the Milwaukee Police Department to answer questions about specific officers. I don't know if they're going to give you a direct answer because they want to, not a direct answer, but directly answer the question about how many officers, because they want to work to make sure that they're not signaling to people who cause havoc in the streets. But police, you want to answer that question about how many officers will be deployed, if you can?
Yeah, again, the mayor's right as far as the exact number of officers.
Absolutely.
We're not going to go into detail. We are deploying an extra amount of resources and redistributing some resources from other districts to bring downtown and other divisions as well. So we are going to have an excess of officers than we typically would have at this time of year.
When you're You mentioned the mobile booking site that's going to be downtown. We did an open records request this past week, and between state and NAP, specifically on water, in the last 4 years, MPD has only given out 11 citations. How is this going to change, and what's your reaction to the patrol? We're all on Water Street. We've seen the patrol out here. 11 citations seems very minimal over 4 years.
That number is, when we start looking back at those numbers, that seems awfully low to what I know of. But we are definitely stepping up enforcement, and we're strongly encouraging everyone to enforce the city ordinances that are out there and any state arrests that need to be made.
Your reaction to that?
Yeah, when people cause death, harm, or destruction in the city, I want them to be held to account. And if there are ways to make that more efficient, then that's exactly what I want to see. And I'm glad that the Sheriff's Department is helping us with this issue on Water Street. Let's have one question at a time, folks, okay?
Talk about staffing. 2 Sundays ago, the lineup showed only 3 officers in District 1, this downtown area. That followed that very violent weekend where you had 2 people shot. What happened on that Sunday? Why was the lineup so weak?
So as far as the lineup goes, you start taking a look at where we are at our numbers. We have multiple shifts that cover that, so we had an excess amount of officers until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And we're talking about a lineup between 3 and about 7 or 8 in the morning. So as far as when we start trying to deploy our resources, we have to take a look at calls for service at certain times a day. So for downtown, that is a slower time for us. So when we deploy our resources, we try to go by calls for service and deploy our resources accordingly per shift. So that one was a little bit lower. We had some outside influences on that. We had someone that was under arrest at a hospital. So if you look at the lineup, someone should have been at what we call hospital guard, and they were there. And then we also, District 1 does some security as far as for the police administration building, and then our inside duties. That has been rectified, and we have upped our staffing quite a bit on our late shift, our overnight shift, to have at least double the amount of officers, if not more, out there for patrol. So that is something that we evaluated and made some adjustments on.
How does this mobile booking site work?
So essentially what we do is we still are the arresting officers, and we take them to the booking site, and we give them either their citations or any other paperwork, and then the Sheriff's Office has graciously assisted with booking them through and identifying them and making sure that they didn't give us a false name.
Is this something you guys have ever used before here on Water Street?
We have done that in the past, quite a long time ago, mobile sites. So it's something that we have done multiple times whenever there's usually like when there was civil unrest or something of that, we had some mobile sites just to speed up the process.
Mayor, obviously you know about the 2 women who were hit 3 days ago on Water Street. A driver drove through a barricade right here at Water and State Street. I've talked with the parents of both of these girls. One of them just left the ICU. She came home this week after 15 days. She's going to be in a wheelchair the next 3 to 4 months. The other one just had another surgery this week. One of their parents said to me, would it have been better off if they were dead? Would that have made a change? Would it?
If their children were dead?
Yes.
Of course not. Of course not.
They don't feel like enough is being done to stop reckless driving in the city. What's your response?
We consistently work on issues of reckless driving. I mean, some of your stations have reported the work that we've done on reckless driving and the reduction in speed that's happened. But specifically about that event, which my heart goes out to those young ladies who were hit. I've been trying to locate, maybe you can help get the numbers for those families, Jenna, because I would like to give them a call. My understanding, though, from that particular incident, that it wasn't a reckless driving incident. It was that we talk about crashes versus accidents. Right? Accidents still happen, and from what I've gathered from this seems to have been an actual accident, right? And I say that because look what happened after the fact. The person that was driving the vehicle, after she went through those barricades, when she realized that she hit human beings, right? She stopped her vehicle. She got out. She rendered aid. She called 911. She stayed on the scene. Like, that's an accident. That's not typical of what you see with drivers who are reckless and hit people or property and then get out and run away or flee. That didn't happen in this case. So my heart absolutely goes out to those young ladies. I've been following this, and if you can help us out with those numbers, I'm happy to call those parents.
There's surveillance videos of this intersection. Have you seen the accident yourself?
I'm gonna.
Everyone keeps saying it's reckless driving, but parents have been denied access to surveillance video. They say that they're not contacting
I've seen what everybody else has seen.
Will the street remain shut down Friday and Saturday nights?
Will the street, Water Street? Yeah. I mean, we got some traffic changes that are coming on, including the flashing red lights that I mentioned. My understanding is that the streets will remain in the same position that they've been over time here.
The food truck hours, what will those be?
That's a council-led initiative. I believe that it's moved up those hours, so people then have to make a choice, right? Either you're not going to be able to go and patronize food trucks and go stand around after bars close. You got to make a choice. Either you're going to go to a food truck and enjoy what they have to offer, or you're going to spend your time in your bar. You can't do both. You can't do both. So you're going to have to make a choice, and then that'll help to continue to disperse the crowd so that we don't see these large gatherings of folks around food trucks. Yeah, I mean, as the police department mentioned, I mean, they're going to work to make sure that we have the adequate strength that we have here, and then also work with other law enforcement agencies in order to make sure that officers can stay on the beat downtown and in the surrounding areas as well. We want to make sure that the entire city is protected. Yeah, the state a couple of years ago, the Republicans that control the legislature, they passed a bill that was bipartisan, was signed by the governor, and that bill gave full authority to deployments to the chief of police. All right, I don't have the decision in that. They took that away, or they didn't. That was never a power of mine. They certainly didn't grant it to me. They took some powers away from the Civilian Fire and Police Commission as well. So by their own action, those decisions around deployment are left to the department, are left to the chief. So that's what it is. I generally trust and depend on the experts in the field. I'm not a law enforcement officer. Neither are, by the way, these Republicans I signed onto this letter. The chief and members of the department are. So I'm going to leave those decisions about specific deployments to the department. I think another thing that's important here, too, that I think it's important to point out, because that's not the only thing that letter said. The letter pointed out a number of things. It said, ordinary citizens, I'm paraphrasing, ordinary citizens are affected by this and things aren't happening. The thing that frustrates me about some of these positions from lawmakers is the fact that people in this city and really around this state, ordinary citizens are affected by issues of gun violence. And I hear silence. I hear absolute silence from these same people who signed this letter each and every single year when people in this city, ordinary citizens, innocent folks, kids, get hurt, get shot, get killed by people who should not have their hands on guns. And they sit around and they point at things that they think aren't happening or not to their liking. Well, they are not without any power. They could do things. They refuse to act on those things. And another thing that I think is important here too, because they talk about me making essentially investments in the police department. I get criticized by folks about making too much investment in the Milwaukee Police Department. When you look at the state of Wisconsin's investment in law enforcement, in the state of Wisconsin's investment, not the locals, but the state, you have to literally scrape the bottom of the barrel. If you had all 50 states in one barrel, you'd have to scrape the bottom of that barrel to find where Wisconsin's investment is in law enforcement. I think that is atrocious. And if they really want to talk about, making investments in law enforcement, then put your money where your mouth is. Step up and help us to fund some of this stuff, because I think it's important. That's why I'm doing it. So they should step up and do it too. Look, I mean, there have been challenges there over the years. If that is going to help to make Water Street a safer place with a location that can't seem to get its act together, then yeah, I would support that. That's not an administrative thing that we can act on. That is exclusively within the purview of the Milwaukee County Council. So I don't really get to say whether that happens or not, but if it's something that will help to make Water Street safer, which apparently it would, because there have been issues with this bar going back some time, then yeah, I'd support that.
We can do one more question.
Mayor, I just want to ask a clarification on the reckless driving.
Yeah.
You mentioned that that driver had stayed at that accident scene, had called 911. So is reckless driving in your definition only if the driver flees? Just explain to me how this is an accident when someone drives through barricades and hits two women, severely injuring them, putting them in the hospital. What does reckless driving mean to you? What are the standards here?
Yeah, I'm saying that when we think about reckless driving, I think when all of us look at reckless driving cases, and there are enough to look at, we see patterns that emerge. Right, folks are passing on the right, they're speeding through stop signs, they do not stop, they evade police, they go on and race away. I'm just pointing out that did not happen here. Somebody made a mistake, went through a barricade, called the police, stayed on the scene, rendered aid. I consider that to be an accident, not to be a reckless driving incident.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.